Well, hello. Welcome back to Every Kind of I Do. And I'm not joking when I say there's a lot of different things that we'll be talking about in this series. And sometimes we're going to revisit weddings, and sometimes we're going to see weddings that are, all over the place. Meaning, I'm in Texas, but I might travel somewhere to go do something, and I want you to hear from my own experiences. What was that like? What did I see? What did I experience? What were the couples like? What were their experiences like? So my hopes is that you're going to get something out of every episode, and so this is why I'm here. I am Jen with Weirdo Weddings Photography. I am a wedding photographer that is out here just curating and being a part of lovely weirdo love stories, and I just really get excited about every episode that I do. So today we're going to get into it. This one's going to be very unique. So um there's something about when I say couples want to infuse who they are into their weddings, that could involve architecture. Literally, like if somebody has graduated from school and their major was architecture, what do you think that couple would be what do you think they would want to celebrate? And also like having their photos and images, right? So, and the reason why I stumble over my words is because I am not rehearsing this. This is just on the fly. This is my real life. This is my thought process. This is who I am as a person. So, you're sitting with me and I am walking through this all over again with you. So I love this because this is in Nebraska. So I went to Nebraska to capture this wedding. And I do remember also right before I left, does anybody remember the big Southwest Airlines glitch and hiccup where it shut down the system for a little bit? This is a little further back than one of the last times this happened, but it was one of those things where you have to make a split decision when you are in the events industry and you are making decisions that are involving travel. And that means, okay, so maybe you hop in your car and you drive somewhere or you make a last minute change on airline. Well, this was one of those moments for me. And I had to pare down exactly how I was traveling to go capture this wedding too. I went from going to having a, possibly like an actual suitcase to what can I do to get there faster with just my gear and a change of clothes, literally. So let's get into it, y'all. This is going to heavily involve architecture and why we are bringing it into our wedding. So I'm going to start here with these buildings and the rooms on this site. We're at a university. So we set this photo shoot up so we could have the extra little bit of time with family. We could do some family photos inside out of the heat. And we had access to a couple of spaces here because, hello, she was a student there when she graduated. So, what I love about this, I love a good staircase. Now, but it has to be like the right angle to capture the staircase. At least in this respect. Like there's a lot of dark woods here, and if there wasn't a lot of natural light coming in, it wouldn't look as dreamy as it does in this image. But here we have the bride who is very much nestled in this space. Maybe she's taken the stairs a few times. Maybe this building meant something to her. And I want to note the simplicity of her look as well. She's got a very simple lace overlaid dress with a blue ribbon as her accessory here, and then a very, very simple white bouquet. But I think that's what I'm looking for here in this kind of image when we're talking about architecture. Like, let your let your space be a part of your story. Yes, you're amazingly gorgeous. You have a lot of details, but this space also has a lot of stories to tell. So that is why I made this a highlight image for just her celebrating this thing, right? So here's another example of buildings that are on site. Maybe you have access to them, maybe you don't. This was one of those instances where we did not have access to this building, but this building did mean something. So I want you to take note of how we still use the space without having to go through the doors. Now, I love this because when if you look on the ceiling here, it looks like giant buttons to me. Like, like sewing buttons, like if you were sewing buttons on a jacket or, something. It just looks like this repeating pattern of buttons. I don't know. I really love it. I love all of the archways. And the reason why I came in super tight on this, believe it or not, is because the stairs and the railings, they're just not so cute. Like I've mentioned this in a previous episode where I chose to keep the width of the building in the image, but in this one, I wanted to crop it as close to their feet as possible so I could get the ceiling and the archways, not the stairs and the stair railings, okay? Yes, they're still in the shot, but there's really nothing I could do about that. And it works for this image. It works for this wedding party. And you'll notice that they have some blue accents here. There's a little running theme of blue going in here. The groom has kind of like a white on white going on. I love the subtlety of this color tone. And I love the fact that actually, fun fact, this is my stepbrother. So I just love the fact that they kept it really simple. They kept it very them. Look, even the girls are wearing flats. Did you see that? I know I zoomed in and out pretty quickly. The girls are wearing flats. How often does that happen? So I love the architecture in this space. I love that we got to have access to this. It is something that I know I enjoyed when I was on site there in Nebraska. And so I also wanted to tell you something about this is from a previous episode too with the country Halloween wedding where I felt like the belt buckle was a representation of a wedding I shot in Nebraska. Well, this is the mural I was talking about. Just a couple episodes ago, you saw it on the belt buckle. It was like this train that was kind of engraved into the belt buckle. Here we have in the haystack area of Nebraska, I forget the city, just bear with me. The haystack area where they were getting married. And then earlier was the photo shoot around the campus. Okay. So this is a beautiful example of how to take in the city that you're living in at the time, because sometimes maybe you're nomadic and you just move around a lot, right? I know I did. I moved around a lot when I was younger, so there was always a different city, always a different town. I lived in a lot of different places. Same with these two. They've lived in a lot of different places. And so why not capture some of the things that are kind of like neato that you can take home with you and enjoy that in your photography for your day? So here's another wonderful thing that I have never seen before, and I need to ask them if they've got the whole thing built. So this is the guest book. So ideally, what you're supposed to do is all these little wooden pieces that are cut out with the circles. At some point, it was going to be a sculptural element. Like, I don't know if they were going to lay out side by side. I don't know if they were going to be stacked. I imagine if you wanted to read all of them, it would be one giant guest book art piece. So what they did was, it looks like there was some white ones, there was some light blue ones and dark blue ones of all different shapes and sizes here. Well, I take that back. It's one shape. It's circles. So on these circles, you're signing your name and your love or whatever memory message you want to leave for them. And at the end of the day, this comes together as one big wall sculpture. Um, so I thought this was a great idea because it kind of ties into the people that they are. And if you're the kind of couple that wants something super sculptural and large, then you're going to want to think about how large of a sculpture do you want to put together? Some people are doing like little tiny things that you sign, and then the sculpture becomes a tree or it becomes thumbprints. All these wonderful little things that people do now for guest books that are much more sculptural. This is another level of that. It's just a larger sculpture. So I really love this and this idea. So it's like, I would love to see where it went after that. And so as we're rounding out this episode here, like I want you to remember that architecture, memories, the cities that you're in, maybe the university that you graduated from, what are the things that matter to you as a couple? Maybe you both graduated from the same university. Maybe you both have a space in an architectural setting that you want captured as part of your memory. I know I've moved a lot, so there's certain things that I might remember about a city that I want to capture with me standing there, or me and my partner and my husband of 20 years, right? So think about that on your wedding day. What would that look like for you? And let me know in the comments. Have you done this for your wedding? Are you planning this kind of thing for your wedding? Are you planning like an adventure, an architectural adventure? I would love to hear about it. And I will see you on the next episode.